So what is up YouTube? In today's video we're going to be talking about Virgin Galactic's stock, ticker symbol SPCE, and decide whether the stock is a buy or not. So Virgin Galactic is trying to commercialize human spaceflight. So till now there have only been about 581 people who have got to go to space. And most of the people who do go to space are handpicked by the government and are a part of government agencies like NASA. And the few people who did go to space who weren't part of government agencies had to pay millions of dollars to go, as the ticket prices basically ranged anywhere from $25 million to $75 million. These people also have to go through rigorous training and have to meet a lot of requirements in order to go to space. So even if they do have the money to afford a ticket, which not many people do, they may not even have the opportunity because of the requirements needed. So this is where space companies like Virgin Galactic, SpaceX, and Blue Origin come in. So again, Virgin Galactic is trying to commercialize space tourism, and for now they are aiming towards the wealthier clients because they are planning to sell a ticket for $250,000 or even more because of the demand they're seeing, but maybe in the future they will be able to reduce costs. But we'll be talking about this a little later in the video. So the space tourism industry is untapped, and that is because costs are so high. However, companies like Virgin Galactic are planning to decrease this, which means this industry has tons of potential if they're able to decrease these prices so more people can actually visit space. Now, even though there hasn't been much in the space tourism industry, I still think there is lots of potential, and so do others, and I think this is backed by the fact that there have almost been 600 reservations by other people to go on a Virgin Galactic spaceship to visit space, and they're also backed by more than $80 million in deposits. They also had a program called One Small Step, which deposits $1,000 from various people, and this is basically like a reservation just in case tickets reopen. And tickets right now are $250,000, but Virgin Galactic does plan on raising this because there is a lot of demand for their tickets and they have currently sold out. And previously we talked about how Virgin Galactic's space tourism will first be directed toward high net worth individuals. So you guys might be thinking they're not that many. However, there are almost 2 million people with over a net worth of $10 million in the USA, and that's expected to grow, which means Virgin Galactic does have a pretty big target audience. So when we talk about the commercial space industry size, it is pretty big, as in 2017 it was worth about $385 billion, and in 2040 it's expected to grow to $1.5 trillion. Now, space tourism in particular is expected to do $3 billion in 2030. However, with their technology, Virgin Galactic's market could potentially be $30 billion. Now, in the space tourism industry, it really seems like the three competitors are SpaceX, Virgin Galactic, and Blue Origin, as mentioned before, but we'll talk about this more in depth a little later. But now let's go more in depth about Virgin Galactic as a business and how far they've come along in commercializing space tourism. Virgin Galactic is a vertically integrated aerospace company pioneering human spaceflight for private individuals and researchers, as well as a manufacturer of advanced air and space vehicles, and it was founded in 2004. They have not yet actually taken a regular person into space, but they have been developing various technologies and have been going through various tests to get closer to this mission. So in 2004, there was a privately developed spacecraft that was able to carry a pilot to suborbital space, and this was called the Spaceship One, and it was built by aerospace visionary Burt Rutan and was financed by Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen. And the company that designed and fabricated it was Scaled Composites. And after 5 years, so in 2009, Virgin Galactic, which was founded by Richard Branson, actually took over Spaceship One and was actually in a kind of merger with Scaled Composites. So now Virgin Galactic owns this technology and they developed it into the Spaceship Two. So the Spaceship Two was a developed aircraft of the Spaceship One. So before we talk about the tests it actually made, let's talk about how it actually goes to space, or the process of the Spaceship Two going to space. So first, it's carried by an aircraft carrier, which takes the Spaceship Two to 50,000 feet. This carrier is called the Scaled Composite White Knight 2, and the White Knight 2 is a custom-built 4-engine dual fuselage jet aircraft which is designed to carry the Spaceship 2 up to an altitude of 50,000 feet, like mentioned before. So it takes it up to 50,000 feet before being released to fly up onto the upper atmosphere powered by its rocket engine. And there were many tests by Virgin Galactic to make sure that the Spaceship 2 actually works and is safe, and we'll be talking about a few. So the first variation of the Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2 is called the Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2 Enterprise. So there were 3 flights with the Enterprise. The first was the first unpowered flight, which was on October 10, 2010. The second was the first powered flight in April 29, 2013, and then there was the last flight in October 31st, 2014 when they tried reaching space, I believe, and there was a huge crash which one pilot sadly died and the other got injured. So from this they made another spaceship too called the Unity, and this actually had a successful first unpowered flight on 3rd December 2016, and it had a successful first space flight on December 13, 2018. And in 2019, Virgin Galactic finished building Spaceport America. Spaceport America is the first purpose-built commercial spaceport in the world, and it is located in New Mexico on 27 square miles of desert landscape. And on December 12, 2020, Virgin Galactic tried sending Spaceship 2 Unity to suborbital space, and this would have been the first time from Spaceport America. However, this test was not a success for various reasons, and the Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2 Unity did not reach suborbital space from New Mexico. However, both pilots were safe. And though this test wasn't successful, Virgin Galactic has huge plans for 2021. So next month, Virgin Galactic plans on launching its new spaceship called the Virgin Galactic Spaceship 3. They're actually supposed to do it in February, but they faced some problems, so they postponed it to May. And so this is a test trial, and it will be done with the Virgin Galactic team, and if it is a success, they will be recording all the data and will be sending it to the Federal Aviation Administration, short form is FAA, to get permission to actually fly tourists. And then if this test is a success, they will be doing another test later in 2021, and this will be with more cabin members. And if these two tests are successful, they will then go to the moon with their founder Richard Branson. Now this was expected to happen in 2021 summer, however, because the first test got postponed, this one will be postponed as well. And if all these are a success, they'll start taking paid customers to the moon. And if you guys didn't know, one spaceship can carry 6 passengers, and one ticket is $250,000, and they have 600 reservations, and those are sold out. And then they did a program called the 1000 Small Steps, where people can basically book a ticket beforehand for $1,000, and overall they have $80 million in deposits. So basically they could get $1.5 million in revenue for one spaceship. So now let's look more into their financials, as we just looked at their industry and their business model. So currently Virgin Galactic is still a pre-revenue company, as they're still in the developing stage. So this company hasn't had any real revenue yet, and they burned $273 million in 2020. And we did say that there are $80 million in deposits that could lead to much more revenue if the people actually decide to buy the whole ticket. However, these deposits are almost fully refundable, so it's not recognized as revenue yet. Now in my opinion, for Virgin Galactic, the most important thing is their balance sheet, because right now revenue isn't that important, as they're still developing their products, and they're gonna continue to burn through tons of cash for development. So right now their total assets are $800 million. However, the most important thing is current assets, or cash and cash equivalents, which is close to $600 million, which they got through the deal in which they became public in a reverse merger with IPOA. And I like how they have a good amount of cash, because $650 million could probably last them 3 years, looking at the amount of cash they're burning currently. However, that may decrease as they become more efficient in their processes. But really, when you do look at it, their financials aren't the best, because they're burning through tons of cash, they don't have any meaningful revenue, and they may have to raise more cash in the future. So if you are planning to invest in Virgin Galactic, you shouldn't be investing in it based on their financials, because their balance sheet is okay. However, their income statement and cash flow statement aren't the best. So currently Virgin Galactic is a $6.35 billion company, and is currently trading at a share price of $26.78. Now the valuation may seem high because the company isn't doing any revenues. However, the valuation is given to the company because of the technology and the revenues the technology can produce 10 years down the road. So now let's do pros and cons of the company's business model and their financials, and then decide whether the stock is a buy or not. So one pro is that they are in a huge untapped industry, and we see that the industry has tons of potential because of the backlog orders they have. And the space tourism market is expected to grow to $30 billion by 2030. However, because the industry hasn't even started yet, it's really hard to dictate whether this will happen or not. The second pro of this company is the technology. They have been working on the technology for 15 plus years, which may give them an edge over their competitors. The third pro of this company is they have an extremely experienced management team, and though I haven't really talked about the management team, their CEO has been in the aviation industry for 15 plus years. Another pro is the cash they have. They have approximately $650 million in cash currently, and they could easily raise more money if their tests are successful, which means they can spend a lot of money for development. And a problem for a lot of growth companies is whether they'll have enough cash to actually develop their products, but in terms of Virgin Galactic, they have enough cash for the next 3 years and can easily raise more money. Another pro is that they had some successful tests with their spaceships, particularly the Spaceship 2 Unity. And the last pro is that they have numerous tests this year, and if one of those tests are successful, they may get FAA approval, then they'll have 2 more tests, and if those are successful, they'll start actually taking consumers to the moon. And this is a pro because it seems like they're really close to actual execution. Now let's talk about the risks of the company. The first risk is they do not have a proven business model, right? No matter how many business plans they showed us, they still don't have any meaningful revenue, and that means in the future there's no guarantee of revenue. And yes, we have talked about how they got $80 million in deposits, which is huge. However, those are refundable, and that was said by the company themselves. Another con or another risk of this company is that there's no proven history of the industry. The industry is as new as the company. The industry hasn't really produced anything, and I'm talking about space tourism in particular. But I don't see this as a huge risk because I definitely think there will be demand for people to go to space, and if it isn't the moon, it might be Mars. We really don't know what it could become. Another risk is their success of their rockets, right? They had many successful trips, especially with their Spaceship 2 Unity like we talked about before, but their Spaceship 3 in December, that test was a failure. And if through the next few tests these rockets fail and it's proven that these aren't safe, then this company will ultimately go to zero. Now another less risk is their competition. So Virgin Galactic has outlined that Blue Origin is their main competitor, but SpaceX might also become a competitor. Now the reason they say SpaceX is not a competitor yet is because SpaceX is focusing towards different goals and Blue Origin is directly competing with them when it comes to space tourism. Now, however, I do think Blue Origin will also be focusing on other aspects of the globalization or commercialization of the space industry other than space tourism. And I do think Virgin Galactic can get significant market share in space tourism, which is a $3 billion industry, so I think they could get anywhere from 33 to 50%, which could be $1.5 billion in revenue. And they also outlined in their investor presentation that the technology can also be used for electric air mobility, and at that point the total addressable market can be $30 billion. Now let's say they could get 10 to 20% of this would be $3 to $6 billion year over year. So when it comes to deciding whether to buy the stock or not, it really depends on whether you think the rockets will be successful or not, and that is really dependent on the next few tests. One will happen next month, another will happen in the next few months, and then the one with Richard Branson will happen at the end of the year. And I think if the spaceships are successful, this company can easily do $2 billion in revenue by 2030. And I think the 2030 numbers we just talked about for Virgin Galactic will be the beginning in terms of the S growth curve, because I think adoption for space tourism will take a very long time, and then from there Virgin Galactic will use their other technologies in other sectors. And I think if the rockets are successful, then this will be an extremely long-term hold, because I think it'll take some time for space tourism adoption. And so if the spaceships are not successful, the stock will eventually hit zero. And I think if the rockets are successful for Virgin Galactic, then this stock can 10x in 10 years. And the reason why I'm saying this is if the technology can be used for other sectors, then the total addressable market will be $30 billion, and I think they could take 10% of it. That'd be $3 billion in revenue, and the price of sales will be insane. It'll be something like a 20, and that's a $60 billion market cap. Now, so this is a high risk, high reward company, so if the rockets or spaceships aren't successful, then this stock I think will go to zero, and if it is, I think it has a potential to 10x, and I really don't see it going anywhere in the middle unless the space tourism industry doesn't develop like we're expecting it to. So now let me talk about whether I am buying the stock or not. So right now, because there's a lot of stock market volatility, I'm just adding more into the positions I have more conviction in, these companies with proven business models that still have tons of potential. So if I do buy Virgin Galactic, it would be a speculative investment. For that reason, I'm not buying it right now because there are a lot of dips on good companies. However, I'm very interested in the stock because it has tons of potential, so I'll either buy it if the stock drops a ton, so below 20, maybe into the teens, or I'll buy it if one of the tests this year goes successful. I'll be looking really closely at the May results and then the second test they do this year. So I'll be looking very closely at the tests, because from those tests I'll be able to understand whether Virgin Galactic can actually take people to space safely, and if they do fail, then I may stop looking at them. However, if they continue to succeed in those tests, then I'll probably buy it, and I will update you guys on what I do. And now there's a lot that I didn't talk about this company, like its merger with IPOA, or Chamath Palihapitiya selling his shares, or Arkwoods adding, but I will be talking about that in another video. This was just an analysis and my thoughts on Virgin Galactic. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please do leave a like and subscribe. Also comment down below what other stock analysis you would like to see and your thoughts on Virgin Galactic, and thank you for watching.